So one of the challenges that I've had over the years, and maybe you've experienced this too, is trying to have your outdoor wood furniture like this look nice. So if you just take your treated wood and you don't do anything to it, is if it's untreated and you want to sit on it and it's kind of wet and damp out like it is right now, you can really never wipe it down because the water is just kind of soaked into this. I've had a little bit of sawdust on this, but let's just say you take like a white clean rag right here and you try to clean it, you can just see all that. It almost looks like algae or something like that on it. Just doesn't look good. So let's say you want to use this and it's been really wet out or you just had some rain. So it's really not going to work for sitting on it. You're going to have to find some kind of cushions or some type of cover for it. If you want to rinse it off, I'll just show you with this water right here. Just grabbing a rag right here, you're just never going to dry the water off. You could sit here all day, wipe it down for 5 or 10 minutes, and it's still going to be damp. So the solution I've come up with by trial and error is this bench right here. You can just see the top, how I finished it. See that nice glossy finish. So let me show you what happens when you splash some water on this. Okay, the same amount of water, check this out. Oh. I'll take a clean rag right here. You just see everything beaded up right there. And if you were to wipe this off, there's a lot of water on there. So now this would be dry to the touch. You wouldn't have all that residual stuff coming up from it. So nice and clean. So this is something I think is going to last you the longest compared to some of the other products like Thompson's Water Seal, things like that. So if you put this away in the winter time, I think you're going to really be happy with the results of this. So I'll show you the history on how I finished some projects and what worked for me, and then I'll show you exactly how I finished this one right here and why I think this is going to last the longest. So this is the octagon picnic table that I have, and it was looking pretty rough, so my father-in-law offered to sand it down and finish it. I think he put on some type of semi-transparent Thompson's Water Seal, and it looked really good for the 1 year, and then it sat outside for the winter. I should have put it away, and it really looked bad. So I decided I need to find a heavier duty product. Here's an outdoor fire pit area, and you can see there's some treated wood furniture, like a table right here for like s'mores and stuff. This is the bench that I finished. This is what it looked like before I did anything to it. And then I sanded it down, and I used these Total Boat products right here. I'll show you a little bit of a closer look. So I started out with a wood sealer. It's a Varnish primer. So you see I have it sanded down to 220, and this stuff's really thin. Just goes on really quick. Darkens the wood a little bit and gets it ready for the other product, which we'll see here in a second. So the final product that I'm putting on this bench is the Total Boat Lust High Gloss Marine Varnish. I ended up putting 3 coats on. It works really well. You only have to wait a little over an hour for it to dry between coats. And you can just see what a finished piece looks like versus unfinished. So I'm using this bench as my test piece to see how much I like it. And this is what the cleanup is like in the summertime. You can just see there's a little bit of rain, and you just wipe it off with a rag, and it just works really well. And now you can see the leaves have turned brown in the fall right here. The finish is held up real well, like in the sun and the heat. So now we're going to see what it looks like next year after the winter. Here we are the next spring after the bench sat outside in the winter during the freeze and thaw cycles, and you can just see the discoloration. And what happened is there's some splits in the wood, and the water got in there and froze, and water got underneath it. So what I'm going to do is use this Milwaukee M18 Fuel belt sander right here. We're going to take the top layer off, just the seating part and the sides of it, not the legs. You can just see where that's cracked. But I also have some other product I'm going to use by Total Boat that I think is going to hold up better. And I also have an idea on how to deal with the splits and the cracks in the wood too. So I really like this belt sander and not having a cord. Milwaukee released this last June at their in-person pipeline event that I attended. And this is the first time testing it out. I'm using 80 grit sandpaper. Okay, I'd say that looks pretty good. All right, so that's what it looks like. And I would say less than 5 minutes, I have that all sanded off, ready for another layer of sanding. So it looks like there's a little bit of mildew in there. We want to keep going with that, but we'll go to the other sander right now. So the next sander we're going to use is the Milwaukee quarter sheet sander. This thing is really smooth. So I had 80 grit, and now we're going to move to 120. All right, so it's nice and smooth right now, but we're going to keep moving our way up until we get to 220 grit. So the bench is ready for the special brushing thinner 100. So this is something that's really thin. This is the prep. So we're just going to put some of that on a thin coat, one coat. So one of the things I'm keeping my eye on, you can see the splits and the cracks here in the wood. I want to see how well they fill in and if we have to do anything to address it. The final product, the marine wood finish. It's an easy to apply varnish alternative, has exceptional UV protection, and it's a little more thick, which you'll see here in just a second. And it's a little more expensive too. So one thing I'm doing for best results, adding just a little bit of thinner, about 10%. And when applying any type of varnish, I highly recommend nitro gloves like this. You'll thank me later. So far I'm really liking the results after a couple coats, and one of the reasons that I chose this product is that it has a breathable, flexible gloss finish. So we'll see how that holds up. So now we put on 3 coats and everything's looking really good, but there's one concern that I have. You can see some of these larger cracks right here coming up. These right here aren't filling in the way I hoped. So I have a solution for that. So my quick solution for filling in the cracks is using the Starbond CA glue. I have some medium and some thick glue that I'm testing out. So after I fill it in, I use the 2-part spray. It's an activator and it sets it up real quick. And after it dries, I just use a little bit of sandpaper to knock off the high spots. And then I'm going to go back with a Total Boat product and then put another coat on top of that. That way in the wintertime, the water doesn't go in there and freeze and thaw and freeze and thaw. So I'm very happy with the results of the bench, and now I can't wait for spring to get here so I can finish these 3 pieces right here. I have really high hopes that this product is going to last. All right, so now I'd like to know what your thoughts are on this right here. Do you think that this setup right here, what I've done, is going to outlast the other products on the market? Please put your comment down below. And if there's something that you've tried that you think will work better than this, or maybe just something easier, I'd like to hear what you have to say. And then coming up on my channel, I have 3 tool reviews that I'm working on. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a project after that. I probably will. I'm gonna probably do a little bit of log splitting stuff. So if you don't mind leaving a comment, I'd like to know, do you prefer tool reviews or like a mixture of some projects and tool reviews as well? So let me know what you guys think. So if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.